Hello, lovely, beautiful people. This video might be looking a little bit different because I am recording live from 2025. So hello, just checking in here with you again. The reason being, I'm going to go ahead and read you the Second Chronicles Part 5. And I actually didn't have a video of this ready to go from our 2024 uploads due to the fact that our power went out last year due to the storm. So I think what I ended up doing, since these were previously for the Facebook audience, still could be for the Facebook audience, but this is actually going to be exclusively for you YouTubers out there. We're gonna go ahead and release this that I just posted as the text version, if you will, the text version on Facebook. I had no power, so the only thing that I was able to do is just get this up in the form of the text. So since YouTube isn't so popular for text posts solely, I'm gonna create a fresh new video for you guys. I hope everybody is doing well. Well, welcome in. We're going to begin with 2nd Chronicles Part 5. And we have a quote here. I'll read it out. This is from Auden, right, or Auden. September 1st, 1939. We're almost entering the month of September as August 2025 comes to an end. It reads, "Hunger allows no choice to the citizen or the police. We must love one another or die." So I think reading this quote before, as we definitely have before, we get kind of placed into this poverty mindset and we assimilate with the fact that yes, when we're hungry, that's all we're thinking about is our hunger and how we're going to relieve ourselves of this hunger and, where is our next meal coming from? We're only thinking about surviving, right? Survival mode. And it's no different whether you are some public member, right, or a member of the public populace, or if you're somebody in a position of authority like the police, as stated here in Miss Auden's, I keep thinking it's a female, she is a female, but she's not, it's Mr. Auden's quote. I'm going to give you something to think about. I'm going to provide a little bit of irony, because recently I posted on Threads this quote that I had come up with that actually tells you the exact opposite of what this Auden quote states. And this is what came to me in the form of a download, if you will. It reads, "Large sums of wealth do the opposite of grant you control. It instead equates to the holdings of massive responsibility to do, with much less of your own will and input." So it came initially as a thought, and I did my best to put it into words. What this is saying that, really the opposite of what we normally assume and what we normally think is true. Massive wealth, even just larger sums of wealth, actually grants you less control and actually grants you more limitations when it comes to freedom and free will. And it seems very counterintuitive. But thinking about the reason why I didn't post that video, we were without power, right? We were without power. We were looking to go to see which restaurant or which place would have been open. No grocery stores were open because this was hurricane season, and we're now entering hurricane season again down here in the south. But no grocery stores were open. Refrigeration was cut off. Yes, we were hungry. But thinking about in that moment how we had unlimited access and freedom, if you will, to make decisions. Thinking about what we were walking to do. We were walking to go explore, to see who had electricity, seeing if we can go to the various shelters that were placed around the community. We went to many places. We had many options to choose from. One turned out the best. We went to that place to simply go charge our phones. Although we were hungry, we were focusing on charging our electronics, so we had a good method of communication. And so I could speak to you even if it was just a quick Facebook text. Well, we had many options. We were deciding what to do. And although almost every retail location, almost every food place was closed, we still had freedom to decide, what are we going to eat? Pizza, or should we try this barbecue place that's open, right? Even if it's just a mere two options, we had the freedom to choose if we wanted to eat pizza, Papa John's, for the third night in a row, or if we wanted to go ahead and try this barbecue. Barbecue sounded better to me. So we had unlimited freedom to our day. My work was off because I didn't have power to be able to work from home. We walked around. It was an exhausting day. It was a tiring day. And I will also tell you, there gets to be a point where you get past the irritating pains of hunger. You overcome those irritating pains, and then all of a sudden, you're just not even hungry anymore. If you guys are familiar with fasting, we can fast, right? We can fast. People are very familiar with that feeling. You know, you're hungry, you're irritated, and then you kind of get over that hump of being irritated. And then the clouds, the fog, drifts away. It drifts away. You feel clear, right? You feel maybe a little bit creative. You feel somehow energized to keep moving forward and maybe to pursue something else that hunger would have disrupted. So the opposite goes to show, if you have massive amounts of wealth, that gives you a lot of responsibility to do with that wealth. So if you have massive responsibilities, you have bills, heavy bills, big bills that, you might be able to be a little bit late, but you might have multiple house payments, right? You have these sections of income that are going to these different funnels, right? You have your investments, you have different things, right? That need to be maintained and upkeep. You might have a payroll that you need to manage and take control. It's not to say massive wealth isn't a bad thing, but you can see how actually your life becomes much more structured and much more controlled by actually the wealth that you have, right? You'll have a pattern, you'll have a routine that you have to stick by because you are the source of a giant income, right? A giant income that's responsible for many. So maybe just switching our mindset a little bit, okay? It's not so bad either place. I'm not saying one place is better than the other. I'm saying that we can actually shift our mindset to be accepting with having more free will and be accepting with wealth, no wealth. It's all okay. It gives you different options and different perspectives. So we're going to continue talking a little bit about wealth and its outcomes with this Second Chronicles part 5. We're into the Bible. Appreciate you guys. This is chapter 16th. We start out in the 36th year of Asa's reign. Baasha, king of Israel, went up against Judah and fortified Ramah to prevent anyone from leaving or entering the territory of Asa, king of Judah. Asa then took silver and gold out of the treasuries of the Lord's temples and his own palace and sent it to Ben-Hadad, king of Aram, who was ruling in Damascus. He says, "Let there be a treaty between me and you, as there was between my father and your father. See, I am sending you silver and gold. Now break your treaty with Baasha, king of Israel, so he will withdraw from me." So we see how money is controlling. It's a controlling factor, but it also limits the control of the person who may be receiving the wealth. Understand that. At that time, Hanani, the seer, came to Asa, king of Judah, and said to him, "Because you relied on the king of Aram and not on the Lord your God, the army of the king of Aram has escaped your hand." The events of Asa's reign from beginning to end are written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. Jehoshaphat his son succeeded him as king and strengthened himself in Israel. In the 3rd year of his reign, he sent officials, Ben-Hel, Obadiah, Zechariah, Nathaniel, and Micaiah to teach in the towns of Judah. Jehoshaphat became more and more powerful. He built forts and store cities in Judah. He had large supplies in the towns of Judah. He also kept experienced fighting men in Jerusalem. From Benjamin, we had Eliada, a valiant soldier with 200,000 men armed with bows and shields. Now, Jehoshaphat had a great wealth and honor, and he allied himself with Ahab by marriage, king of Israel. And that's where it leaves off. So that is what I left off I think due to the storms, I'm gonna actually have to rewatch the videos and see why I'm missing the video. I don't know if I skipped an upload or what have you, but I'm missing the video for whatever reason. You can see how this responsibility plays out, right? Those responsible for wealth, those responsible for the storehouses, those responsible for soldiers, okay? And how that actually limits your freedom, your free will, because you're responsible for so many. So now you're taking input from that many, you understand? So that's something to think about, right? Especially as we begin to expand, right? Maybe we're going for that raise, maybe we're going for that higher position of responsibility, and that's exactly what it is, responsibility. I apologize if I'm talking so fast, you guys. It was a coffee day, wink, wink. But I do appreciate you listening, and I'm happy to see you again in real time. I will be here again in real time very shortly. We just got to run through the rest of the topics that we have to discuss. We are going into after Second Chronicles, we'll be finishing everything, but I personally, in real time, am going through the book of Matthew right now. We're going through Matthew, and you know how that is. Once we reach the New Testament, it's the Gospels, and then it's Paul's letters and Revelation, and we are all done with the Bible. So thank you for going on this journey for me, with me, for me, with me, with me. It is just beginning, so I can hardly wait to explore with you guys even further. God bless you. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold as well. God bless you. I'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.